This is HOA backfired. And the HOA made a mistake. That is not compliant. The voice hit me before I even opened my eyes. I bolted upright in bed, heart hammering, because that voice was coming from my driveway. I threw off the blanket and stumbled to the window, still in my pajamas, and there she was. Nancy Cooper, Rules Enforcement Chair for the Vista Verde Owners Association, standing next to a tow truck with her phone held up like it was evidence. My sedan was already half-hooked to the flatbed. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, in a gated community where towing is a profit machine. I moved here 6 months ago because I wanted a safer street close to my job. I am a project manager at a construction firm downtown, and my commute used to be 40 minutes each way. Vista Bird cut that to 12. The gates, the landscaping, the pool, it all looked perfect. What I did not see was the enforcement machine waiting to spring. I yanked on jeans and my emerald green jacket and ran outside barefoot. The asphalt was cold under my feet. Nancy turned, and her expression was pure triumph. She lowered the phone just enough to make eye contact, then raised it again, filming me as I approached. "Your guest parked in an unassigned spot," she said. "The tow was authorized at 6:47 this morning." I looked at my car. It was in my driveway. My driveway. I did not have a guest last night. I parked there myself after work, same as I do every single day. "That is my car," I said, "in my driveway." "What are you talking about?" She tapped her phone screen. "The portal shows a vehicle in spot 32 overnight. Spot 32 is unassigned. That is a violation." "I do not park in spot 32, I said. "I park right here, in my driveway. Look at it. It is hooked to a tow truck in my driveway." Nancy's mouth tightened. She turned to the tow operator, a guy in a stained reflective vest who looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. "He is refusing to comply," she said. "Please proceed." The operator glanced at me, then at the car, then back at Nancy. "Ma'am," he said slowly, "this vehicle is in a private driveway. I need documentation that the owner authorized the tow, or I need proof it is abandoned or blocking access." Nancy held up her phone again. "I have authorization from the board. This vehicle was flagged for violation. You were dispatched under contract." The operator looked at me. "You the homeowner?" "Yes," I said. "This is my car. I parked it here last night. I have no idea what she is talking about." He sighed and pulled out his radio. "I am going to call dispatch," he said. "This does not feel right." Nancy stepped forward, her phone still raised. "That is confidential," she said. "The board decision is final. If you do not proceed, I will report your company for breach of contract." The operator ignored her and keyed his radio. "Dispatch, I got a situation at Vista Verde. Homeowner says the vehicle is his, parked in his own driveway. Request confirmation on authorization." Static crackled. There was a long pause. Then a tired voice came back. "We got the work order from the HOA management office at 06:30. Flagged as overnight violation in unassigned parking. You are clear to proceed." I felt my stomach drop. The operator looked at me, apologetic. "Sorry, man, I got to follow the order." I pulled out my phone and started recording. "This is insane," I said. "I need to see the violation notice. I need to see proof." Nancy smiled, thin and sharp. "You will receive all documentation through the portal. Your hearing is scheduled for tonight at 7. If you fail to appear, the fines will double." "Tonight?" I said. "You tow my car at dawn and give me 12 hours notice for a hearing?" She turned and walked toward her car, a white sedan with a Vista Verde parking permit stuck to the windshield. The tow operator released the winch brake. My car lurched backward onto the flatbed with a metallic groan. "Wait," I said. "I need my car for work." I have a meeting at 9. If I do not show up, I lose the contract. Nancy paused at her car door. She looked back, phone still raised, filming. That is not compliant, she said again. Then she got in and drove away. The tow truck pulled out of my driveway with my car on the back. I stood there in bare feet, watching my commute disappear around the corner. My phone buzzed. It was a notification from the Vista Verde portal. I opened it. New post in community violations. My name was at the top. Below it was a photo of a car, grainy and dark, parked in what looked like a visitor spot. The license plate was blurred, but the post claimed it was mine. The timestamp said 11:42 last night. I scrolled down. There were already 3 comments. One said, "This is why we have rules." Another said, "People like this ruin the community." The third was from Nancy, violation confirmed. Vehicle towed per board authorization. Owner notified. I took a screenshot. Then I went back inside, my hands shaking, and called my boss. I told him I would be late. He was not happy. I told him I would explain later. Then I opened my laptop and started digging. The Vista Verde portal is a disaster of a website. It is slow, clunky, and half the links do not work. But it keeps logs. Every post, every edit, every comment has a timestamp. I opened the violation post and clicked on the History tab. The post had been edited. Twice. The original version, posted at 6:19 this morning, said, "Vehicle parked in spot 32 overnight. Owner to be notified." The first edit, 6:23, added my name and the claim that I had been notified. The second edit, 6:31, added the photo and the line about board authorization. I took screenshots of everything. Then I opened the gate access logs. Vista Verde has cameras at both gates. Every entry and exit is recorded with a timestamp and a license plate scan. I searched for my plate number. 11:38 last night, I entered through the main gate. 11:41, I pulled into my driveway. The camera angle was clear. My car went straight from the gate to my driveway. It never stopped at spot 32. It never stopped anywhere except my driveway. I downloaded the footage. Then I checked spot 32. The camera there showed a different car, a gray SUV with an out-of-state plate, parked at 11:42. It left at 6:04 this morning. My car was never there. I sat back and stared at the screen. Nancy had fabricated the violation. She posted a photo of a different car, claimed it was mine, and ordered the tow before I even woke up. And now she had my car, my ability to get to work and keep my job, held hostage behind a hearing I had 12 hours to prepare for. My phone buzzed again. Another portal notification. This time it was a private message from the HOA management office. The subject line said, "Violation appeal process." I opened it. The message was short. It said, "Per Vista Verde bylaws, all violation appeals require a $50 filing fee, payable before the hearing. Failure to pay will result in automatic denial of appeal. Payment must be received by 5 p.m. today. Contact the management office to arrange payment." At the bottom, copied in the CC line, was an email address I did not recognize. I Googled it. It was the HOA attorney. I called the management office. It rang 6 times, then went to voicemail. I left a message. I called again. Voicemail. I sent an email. No response. I checked the time. It was 7:45. I had to be at work in an hour and 15 minutes, and my car was gone. I called a rideshare. The app said 12-minute wait. I paced my kitchen, refreshing my email every 30 seconds. At 8:30, still no response from management. I got in the rideshare and went to work. The meeting was tense. My boss kept glancing at his watch. I kept checking my phone under the table. At 10:15, I finally got a reply from the management office. It was an automated message. It said, "Your inquiry has been received." Response time is typically 3 to 5 business days. For urgent matters, please call during office hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. I looked at the timestamp. The email had been sent at 10:12. It was Friday. Office hours started at 9. I had called at 7:45, 8:10, and 8:35. Nobody picked up. I stood up in the middle of the meeting and excused myself. My boss followed me into the hallway. "What is going on?" he said. I told him. The HOA towed my car from my own driveway, fabricated a violation, and now they are demanding I pay a fee to appeal before a hearing tonight. I do not have my car. I cannot get home. I cannot get to the hearing. And management will not answer the phone. He stared at me. "That is insane," he said. "I know," I said. "But I have proof. I have the gate footage. I have the portal edit history. I just need to get to the hearing." He thought for a moment. "Take the rest of the day," he said. "Go deal with this. But I need you back Monday, or we lose the contract." I thanked him and left. I called another rideshare and went back to Vista Verde. The management office is in a small building near the pool. I walked in at 11:20. The receptionist looked up, startled. "I need to speak to someone about a violation appeal," I said. She glanced at her computer. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," I said. "I called 3 times this morning." Nobody answered. She frowned. "Office hours are 9 to 4. You should have called during office hours." "I did," I said. "At 7:45, 8:10, and 8:35. I have the call logs." She clicked her mouse a few times. "I do not see any record of that." I pulled out my phone and showed her the call log. She looked at it, then back at her screen. "Let me check with the manager," she said. She stood and disappeared into a back room. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. At 11:35, she came back with a man in a polo shirt with the Vista Verde logo. He introduced himself as the assistant property manager. "I understand you have a concern about a towing," he said. "I have a concern about a fraudulent violation," I said. "My car was towed from my driveway this morning based on a claim that I parked in an unassigned spot. I have gate footage showing I never parked there. The portal post was edited multiple times after the tow. And now I am being told I have to pay $50 to appeal, with the HOA attorney copied on the email." He nodded slowly. "Towing is handled by the board," he said. "I cannot override a board decision." "I am not asking you to override it," I said. "I am asking you to look at the evidence. The violation is fake." He crossed his arms. "The board reviewed the evidence and authorized the tow. If you believe there was an error, you can appeal at tonight's hearing." "I need my car to get to the hearing," I said. "I need my car to get to work. This is my ability to keep my job." He shook his head. "I cannot release a towed vehicle without board approval. You will need to wait for the hearing." "Then I need to pay the appeal fee," I said. "Right now." He glanced at the receptionist. "She can process that," he said. $50, cash or check only." I pulled out my wallet. I had $60 in cash. I handed over $50. The receptionist wrote me a receipt on a carbon copy form. The assistant manager nodded and walked back into the office. I stood there, receipt in hand, feeling like I had just paid a ransom. "The hearing is at 7, the receptionist said. "Clubhouse conference room. Do not be late." I left and went home. I spent the next 6 hours preparing. I printed the gate footage stills. I printed the portal edit history. I printed the timestamp logs. I made a binder with tabs. I rehearsed what I was going to say. At 6:30, I called another rideshare. At 6:50, I walked into the clubhouse. The conference room was at the end of a hallway. The door was closed. I could hear voices inside. I knocked. The voices stopped. The door opened. Nancy Cooper stood there, phone in hand, filming me again. "You are early," she said. "The hearing starts at 7. "It is 6:50, I said. I wanted to be on time. She stepped aside. I walked in. The room had a long table with 5 chairs on one side and 1 chair on the other. 4 people sat on the 5-chair side. The 5th chair was empty. I recognized 2 of them from the pool. The others I had never seen. Nancy closed the door and sat in the 5th chair. She set her phone on the table, still recording. I sat in the single chair. The binder was heavy in my lap. The board president, an older man with wire-rimmed glasses, cleared his throat. "We are here to review a parking violation appeal," he said. "The homeowner is present. Nancy, please present the board's findings." Nancy picked up a sheet of paper. On the evening of January 16th, a vehicle matching the homeowner's registration was observed, parked in spot 32, an unassigned visitor space, overnight. This is a direct violation of Section 4.3 of the Vista Verde bylaws. The vehicle was flagged at 6:19 a.m. and towed at 6:47 a.m. per board authorization. The homeowner was notified via portal post. She set the paper down. "That is not compliant," she said. I opened my binder. "I have evidence that contradicts every part of that statement," I said. The board president frowned. "You will have an opportunity to present your case." "Nancy, continue." Nancy tapped her phone. "The homeowner has a history of noncompliance. In November, he received a warning for holiday decorations installed before the approved date. In December, he received a notice for a trash bin left at the curb past collection hours. This parking violation is part of a pattern." I stared at her. The holiday decoration warning was for putting up lights 2 days early. The trash bin notice was because the truck came late and I was at work. Neither of those things had anything to do with parking. The board president made a note. "Thank you, Nancy." He looked at me. "You may present your appeal." I stood and opened the binder to the first tab. "This is the gate footage from the night of January 16th, I said. "It shows my car entering the main gate at 11:38 p.m. and proceeding directly to my driveway at 11:41 p.m. My car never stopped at spot 32. I slid the printout across the table. The board president picked it up. Nancy leaned over to look. Her expression did not change. I flipped to the second tab. This is the portal edit history for the violation post. The original post, made at 6:19 a.m., did not include my name or any claim that I had been notified. The post was edited twice, at 6:23 and 6:31, to add those details after the tow was already in progress. I slid that printout across. The board president frowned. Nancy shifted in her seat. I flipped to the third tab. This is the camera footage from spot 32. It shows a gray SUV with an out-of-state plate parked there at 11:42 p.m. That SUV left at 6:04 a.m. My car was never in that spot. I slid that printout across. The board president set down his pen. He looked at Nancy. "Nancy, did you review the gate footage before authorizing the tow?" Nancy's mouth tightened. The portal report indicated a violation. I acted on the information provided. "By who?" I said. "Who provided the information?" She looked at me, then at the board president. "That is confidential." The board president sighed. "Nancy, if the vehicle was never in spot 32, how was the violation flagged?" Nancy picked up her phone. "I have photographic evidence," she said. She swiped at the screen, then turned it around. The photo showed a car in a parking spot. The license plate was blurred. "That is not my car," I said. That is a gray SUV. My car is a sedan. The gate footage proves it. Nancy set the phone down. The lighting conditions made identification difficult, she said. The board relies on my judgment in these matters. The board president looked at the other 3 members. They looked uncomfortable. One of them, a woman in her 50s, spoke up. I think we need to review the footage more carefully before we proceed. Nancy's face flushed. The tow has already been completed. The homeowner has already paid the appeal fee. Reversing the decision now sets a dangerous precedent. The board president shook his head. Nancy, this does not look good. If the homeowner's car was never in spot 32, we cannot uphold the violation. Nancy stood, phone in hand. I have been rules enforcement chair for 3 years, she said. I have never had a decision overturned. If you reverse this, you undermine the entire enforcement process. The room went quiet. I stayed seated, binder open in front of me. I had more tabs. I had not even gotten to the best part yet. The board president looked at me. Do you have any other evidence? I flipped to the 4th tab. Yes, I said. I have this. I slid the final printout across the table. It was an email chain. At the top was a message from Nancy to the towing company, sent at 6:14 a.m. It said, authorize immediate tow of vehicle in spot 32. Owner notified. Board approval confirmed. Below that was a reply from the towing company, sent at 6:16, received. Dispatch en route. Below that was a 3rd email, sent at 6:19, from the assistant property manager to Nancy. Nancy, I do not see board approval for this tow in the system. Can you confirm authorization? Nancy's reply, sent at 6:21, board approval is implicit under my enforcement authority. Proceed as planned. The board president's face went pale. He looked at Nancy. You ordered the tow without board approval? Nancy's hands clenched. I have enforcement authority, she said. The bylaws give me discretion to act in urgent situations. This was not an urgent situation, the board president said. This was a parking violation you fabricated. I did not fabricate anything, Nancy said. I acted on the information I had. The information you had was wrong, I said. And you edited the portal post to cover it up. Nancy turned to me, phone raised again. That is not compliant, she said. Stop filming, the board president said. Nancy, put the phone down. She did not move. This is a public hearing, she said. I have the right to document it. This is not a public hearing, the board president said. This is a board meeting. Put the phone down, or I will ask you to leave. Nancy lowered the phone slowly. Her jaw was tight. She sat down, but her hand stayed on the phone. The board president looked at me. I apologize, he said. This should not have happened. We will reverse the violation and refund all fees, including the tow charges. I nodded. Thank you. Nancy stood again. You cannot do that, she said. The bylaws require a majority vote. The board president looked at the other 3 members. All in favor of reversing the violation? 3 hands went up immediately. The 4th member, a man in his 60s, hesitated, then raised his hand. Motion passes, the board president said. The violation is reversed. Nancy, you are removed from enforcement authority pending a full review of your actions. Nancy's face went white. You cannot remove me, she said. I was appointed by the board. You were appointed by the previous board, the board president said. This board can revoke that appointment. We will discuss your status at the next meeting. For now, you are suspended. Nancy grabbed her phone and her papers and walked out. The door slammed behind her. The room was silent. The board president sighed. I am sorry, he said again. This is not how Vista Verde is supposed to operate. I closed my binder. "I appreciate you looking at the evidence," I said. "We will have the management office contact the towing company and arrange for your vehicle to be returned," he said. "You should have it back by tomorrow morning. All fees will be refunded within 7 business days." I stood and shook his hand. "Thank you." I left the clubhouse and walked out into the parking lot. It was dark now, and the desert air was cool. My phone buzzed. It was a message from a neighbor I barely knew, a guy named Marcus who lived 3 doors down. The message said, "I saw what happened this morning. I have been documenting Nancy for months. If you need more evidence, let me know." I texted back I might. "Thank you." He replied immediately, "She has been targeting people since she got the enforcement job. You are not the first. But you might be the one who finally stopped her." I put my phone away and walked toward the gate. The rideshare was waiting outside. I got in and gave the driver my address. As we pulled away, I looked back at the clubhouse. The lights were still on in the conference room. The next morning, my phone rang at 7:15. It was the towing company. "Your vehicle is ready for pickup," the dispatcher said. "We are waiving all fees per the HOA board decision. You can collect it any time today." I borrowed my boss's truck and drove to the impound lot. My car was parked near the office, undamaged. I signed the release form and drove it home. By the time I pulled into my driveway, it was 8:30. I had just enough time to shower and get to work. At 9:45, my phone buzzed. Another portal notification. I opened it. The post was from the board president. It said, "Effective immediately, all towing and parking enforcement decisions require board approval before action is taken. Residents will receive 72 hours notice before any tow is authorized. Any enforcement actions taken without proper authorization will be reversed and the responsible party will be held accountable." Below that was a second post, this one from the management office. "Nancy Cooper has been removed from the Rules Enforcement Committee pending investigation. All pending violations issued by Nancy Cooper are under review. Affected residents will be contacted individually." I screenshotted both posts and sent them to Marcus. He replied with a thumbs-up emoji and a single word: "Finally." Over the next 2 weeks, I heard from 3 other neighbors who had been targeted by Nancy. One had his truck towed for being 6 inches over the driveway line. Another had been fined for a trash bin that was the wrong color, even though it was the same bin the HOA-approved trash company provided. A third had been cited for a holiday wreath that was apparently too large. All of them had evidence. All of them had been ignored. All of them had paid fines and fees and walked away. Marcus had been documenting everything. He had screenshots going back 8 months, showing a pattern of selective enforcement, fabricated violations, and portal posts edited after the fact. He sent it all to the board president. 2 weeks later, the board announced that Nancy Cooper had resigned from the Vista Verde Owners Association, effective immediately. I never saw her again. Her house went up for sale in March. By April, it was gone. If you are dealing with an HOA nightmare, hit that like button and subscribe, because I have got more stories coming. The Vista Verde board hired a new property management company in May. The new company implemented a transparent violation process with photo evidence, timestamp notices, and a mandatory review period before any enforcement action. Towing was restricted to genuine safety hazards or vehicles blocking access. Everything else required 72 hours notice and a chance to correct. I stayed in Vista Verde. The neighborhood is quieter now. The enforcement machine is gone. People still follow the rules, but the fear is gone too. You can put up holiday lights without checking the calendar. You can leave your trash bin out if the truck runs late. You can park in your own driveway without waking up to a tow truck. My boss renewed the contract. My commute is still 12 minutes. I keep the binder in my car, just in case. I keep the screenshots backed up in 3 places. I keep Marcus's number saved in my favorites. And I check the portal every morning, just to make sure nobody is editing posts with my name in them. Because that is the thing about HOA enforcement. It only takes one person with a phone and a little bit of power to turn your life upside down. And it only takes one person with evidence and a little bit of courage to shut it down. I was lucky. I had gate footage. I had edit history. I had timestamps and screenshots and a neighbor who had been watching. Most people do not have that. Most people pay the fee, sit through the hearing, and lose. But if you do have evidence, use it. Print it. Back it up. Bring it to the hearing. Make them look at it. Make them explain why your car was towed from your own driveway based on a photo of someone else's car. Because they will not expect you to fight back. They will expect you to pay and move on. And when you show up with a binder and a paper trail, they will realize they picked the wrong person. That is what happened to Nancy Cooper. She spent 3 years running Vista Verde like her personal fiefdom, and she thought nobody would call her out. She thought the board would back her. She thought the management company would cover for her. She was wrong. The final refund check came in the mail 6 days after the hearing. It included the tow fee, the impound fee, the appeal filing fee, and an additional $50 for what the board called administrative inconvenience. I framed the check. I did not cash it. I wanted to remember. In June, the new management company sent out a survey asking residents to rate their satisfaction with the community. I gave them a 10 out of 10. In the comments I wrote, "Keep doing what you are doing. Transparency works." They published the survey results in the July newsletter. Vista Verde had the highest resident satisfaction rating in 5 years. I ran into the board president at the pool in August. He was sitting under an umbrella with a book. I waved. He waved back and gestured for me to come over. "I wanted to thank you," he said. "What you did at that hearing, it woke us up. We had no idea how bad it had gotten." I sat down on the edge of the lounge chair. "You did the right thing," I said. "A lot of boards would have backed her." He shook his head. "We almost did. But when I saw that email chain, I knew we could not let it stand. If we had upheld that violation, we would have been part of the problem." "You still reversed it," I said. "That takes guts." He smiled. "You made it easy. You came in with evidence. Most people just yell." I laughed. I thought about yelling. "I am glad you did not," he said. "It would not have worked." We talked for a few more minutes. He told me the board was working on a new enforcement policy that would require video evidence for all towing actions. He told me they were reviewing every violation Nancy had issued in the past year. He told me 3 families had already received refunds and apologies. "That is good," I said. "People deserve that." He nodded. "They do." I left the pool feeling lighter than I had in months. Vista Verde was not perfect. No HOA is. But it was better. And that was enough. Marcus texted me in September. He said the new enforcement policy was working. He said nobody had been towed in 3 months. He said people were actually happy. I texted back, "That is what it should have been all along." He replied, "You made that happen." "I did not make it happen," I wrote. "I just showed up with evidence." "That is all it takes sometimes," he said. He was right. I think about that morning a lot. The tow truck in my driveway. Nancy with her phone. The feeling of watching my car disappear and knowing I might lose my job because of a lie. I think about how close I came to just paying the fee and moving on. I think about how easy it would have been to skip the hearing, let them keep the car, and start over somewhere else. But I did not. I showed up. I brought evidence. I made them look. And it worked. Not because I am special, not because I am brave, but because I had proof, and I refused to let them ignore it. That is the lesson. If your HOA comes after you, do not assume they are right. Do not assume the board will back them. Do not assume you are powerless. Get the footage. Get the screenshots. Get the timestamps. Print everything. Back it up. Bring it to the hearing. And when they try to shut you down, make them explain why the evidence is wrong. Most of the time, they cannot. Because most of the time, they did not check. Nancy Cooper did not check the gate footage. She did not check the Spot 32 camera. She did not get board approval. She just saw an opportunity to flex her authority, and she took it. And when I called her out, she had nothing. The board reversed the violation in less than an hour. The management company refunded every fee. Nancy resigned within 2 weeks. All because I showed up with a binder and refused to back down. If you are in an HOA, keep records. Save every email. Screenshot every portal post, download every notice. Keep a log of every interaction. Because sooner or later, someone is going to come after you. And when they do, you need to be ready. Vista Verde is quiet now. The pool is open. The gates work. The landscaping is nice. People wave when you drive by. And nobody has been towed from their own driveway in over a year. That is what accountability looks like. That is what happens when you stand up and make them prove it. I still live here. I still drive past Nancy's old house on my way to work. It is painted a different color now. The new owners put up a flag. They have kids who ride bikes in the cul-de-sac. I wonder if they know what happened here. I wonder if anyone told them about the enforcement machine, the fabricated violations, the tow trucks at dawn. Probably not. People do not talk about that stuff. They just move in, sign the bylaws, and hope for the best. But I know. And Marcus knows. And the board knows. And if it ever happens again, we will be ready. Because that is the thing about HOAs. They only have as much power as you give them. And the moment you stop being afraid, the moment you show up with evidence and demand answers, that power disappears. Nancy Cooper learned that the hard way. The Vista Verde board learned it too. And now the whole neighborhood is better for it. So if you are dealing with an HOA nightmare, do not give up. Do not pay and move on. Do not assume they are right. Get the evidence. Show up. Make them prove it. And when they cannot, make them fix it. That is how you win. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.